Bright and early the next morning, Tanner piled into the back of the transport truck as the 8 SEALs in his unit headed over to the paragliding training session. San Diego was a well-loved paragliding location, but the SEALs had a private cliff edge for today's training jumps. Tanner had done a fair bit of paragliding in his life. Always found the experience a step above exalted. There was no way to explain the sense of freedom that flying and soaring in the sky gave him. It was seriously magical. He wished everybody had a chance to try it at least once in their life. He understood his unit and another SEAL's unit were trying out new harnesses today, offering better control and able to carry more weight with extra straps for hooking up packs. Tanner wasn't sure about the constantly changing designs, but he was willing to go with whatever just for a chance to soar in the sky again. At their destination, they found the other SEALs team had arrived before them. As Tanner bailed out of the truck, Macklin called out, "Hey Tanner, how's that idiot Warwick doing?" Tanner gave him the thumbs up as he walked over to his buddy. "Happy as a bug in bed," he said, "especially now that he's not alone." Everybody else gathered around gave smug nods. "Understood," Macklin said. "Mason's matchmaking magic is still working." Tanner nodded. "Warwick's healing nicely, but it'll be a while yet." "Well, glad to have you back. Although I gather your days off weren't terribly relaxing." "No, they weren't," Tanner said with a grin. He pointed to the blue sky above. "But this is an absolutely perfect day to be out here. Can't think of anything I'd rather do. Unless it's being like Warwick and stuck in bed with someone special," Macklin said with a big grin. Tanner had to give him a point for that. "You would know. You've spent plenty of time there yourself." "I have, and it's fantastic," Macklin said. Shadow, with Jackson at his side, stepped up to Tanner, nudged him, and said, "I think we all have, except for Tanner and Jackson here." Macklin frowned, slid a sideways glance at Tanner, who waited, knowing the inevitable was coming. Macklin asked, "You looking?" "Nope, don't get me into this." Macklin shook his head. "I wouldn't knock it. Fate has a habit of turning around and smacking you in the face." Tanner nodded. "I watched Warwick and Penny come together. I tell you, that was almost cataclysmic. It doesn't happen like that for everybody, though." "It sure hasn't for me," Jackson said in a joking manner. "No, probably not," Shadow said. "But when you find the right one, there's nothing like it." Shadow rarely spoke, and when he did, it was something to listen to. Big, silent, indomitable was how Tanner always thought of Shadow. The SEAL groups were made up of all alpha males. They had to be, just to do the kind of work they did. But there was something about Mason's team. Tanner was part of the expanded unit. So many guys were working together now, regardless of their unit assignment, that it was hard to know sometimes who worked with who. But that was what made all the units work so well, whether alone or on a joint mission. Over 30 of them had trained together closely. Across the country were over 2,000 men like Tanner, his brother SEALs. He counted himself as one of the lucky ones to be a part of this unique and select brotherhood. And maybe, if only on the inside, Tanner wondered about finding someone special, like what Mason's team had found. Well, who could blame him? Watching Warwick's relationship with Penny evolve had been pure magic. Tanner was really happy for the big guy. The training session started. They were called to attention, separated into groups, and brought over to various paragliders already laid out. These were some of the biggest out there, with the silks spanning 40 feet when fully opened or otherwise engaged in flight. Sometimes the silks were called wings, like a pair of. But these were just one continuous swath of silk. Regardless, these were some kind of beautiful when aloft in the air. Then 15 minutes of safety instruction followed, and thereafter another 15 minutes just going over the differences between these new units and the old ones they might have used before,